You know, I had spent time trying to figure out, like, you know, whether I should make a change, whether I should move, whether I should, you know, move away. I don't know. You have all kind of thoughts. I've had all kind of thoughts in terms of what do you do next? What do you do when, you know, the person you thought that you would spend the rest of your life with, what do you do when they're gone? No longer with you? When all of your plans have to change. You know, what do you do? It seems like the thing to do initially is to just get up and go. Just leave it. That feels like the thing to do. No. That seems like the thing to do. But that's not always the case. Because you do have to put thought in behind things. And I try not to be a knee-jerk person. I used to be, I think. I don't know that I ever have been. I think maybe some decisions may have been knee-jerk, but for the most part, I do think I think through stuff. And that part of me wanted to be knee-jerk and just say the hell with it and just leave, you know, start a new life somewhere. I'm going to try to talk and not get emotional. That's why I think it's these conversations that I wasn't sure I wanted to have. But I know are the conversations that I need to have, because I know that there are people out there going through the same things, going through the same thing, the type of thing. And it's difficult to go through these type of things and feel like you're alone. I know that there are, you know, groups out there that people join. Some people join, you know, to get comfort or to develop a community, you know, that type of thing. I know that because I'm in healthcare, so I know that those things exist. But I also know that a lot of people, that's not their choice. That's not how they want to, you know, get through the tough times. A lot of people, you know, try to, you know, a lot of people go through it. You know, you find your way and you go through it. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I feel like even then, you know, there needs to be some type of support, some type of community that, you know, that you can confide in, whether it's, and that does consist of family and friends. And for me, I have family and I have friends that I can talk to. But I've heard so many different stories about people and their losses in terms of, you know, we've lost, well, I have lost friends growing up. And I say that with an S on the end. And I can say many friends. I can say more than a few friends, which a few is around 3. I think 3 or more is considered a few. But when you say many, you know, that kind of puts things in a whole a whole nother context. Um, so I don't take losing people um, I don't take it lightly or for granted. Um, I feel like I've got to get this first one out, because if I get it out, I feel like I can feel more comfortable talking about something so personal, with people, or being vulnerable in front of people. But I know that what I'm saying will help someone. I feel like I am a strong person. And I've been through a lot. When I say a lot, you could never imagine. But I know that God has kept me here. And it's put me in this situation to be vulnerable. For a reason. He put me in this position for a reason. And I'm trying to be obedient. And so in being obedient, I have to be vulnerable. And I'm not a vulnerable person. I've never really been that type of person. I've always been private with my feelings and got through stuff, and I think that makes people take me for granted as well, because when you're a strong person, I know I don't have a gnat that's gonna annoy me. We gotta do something, because I can't be seeing gnats. But if you see me get up and hit the camera, it's only because it time's out, and I still need to see the screen because I only have so much battery life left. No SD camera card time left. But anyway, people have, I think, kind of, let that be their guide as to how they treat me. And it's fine, hey, I am a strong person. But even a strong person, feels pain. You still have emotions, But as I was saying, I do feel like my having to be vulnerable is what I have to be. I have to be vulnerable because I never wanted to be. And I think that's the only way that I will be able to fulfill what I'm supposed to be doing. And I think part of what I'm supposed to be doing is sharing, I guess, my strength and where it comes from. I feel like my entire life I've had people that prayed for me, and this isn't getting ready to turn into anything religious, because if you know me, that's not, I'm not a religious, so to speak, person. I believe in God. Um, I believe in the Bible. I believe in the Quran, even though I've never read it um, in completion. I believe um, in the Dead Sea Scrolls. I understand. I believe historically, history also ties into the Bible, and as long as you can acknowledge the two, then you'll have a better understanding. Um, so I'm just one of those people, you know. Um, and one thing about me is I grew up in the church, so I'm far from being a non believer. Um, it's just that I never got caught up into religion, so to speak. I always kept an open mind about things, and I always, I, I'm an Aquarius, and I'm a true Aquarius. If you look up Aquarius personality, you will see me. That is who I am. I am indeed an Aquarius. Um, I have always been open minded. I do have my beliefs, but I have also learned in time that even as far as, you know, in terms of do you believe things that's in the Bible? Yes, of course, I believe in the Bible. I do believe that we have never got the full understanding of the Bible, just because people get stuck in either this, they just see straight ahead and they can't look outside of that, or they can't see outside of the box, because there's more to. In order to understand the Bible, I think you also have to understand history. You have to understand more than just the Bible, because I think everything ties in together. Um, and there shouldn't be just one, there can't be just one way of seeing things, because if there is, somebody has to be wrong when there's trillions of people on the place on trillions of people on the earth, and there's earth and there's hundreds of different cultures and belief systems and all that. So it can't just be this one way. It can't be. I refuse to believe that. So that's just my personal thought. But anyway, I don't want to stray into that right now. My point being, when I started going through this with my husband, losing my husband, um, I needed someone. I needed that, because for 2 months I stayed in the house and I didn't even realize it had been 2 months. It felt like it had only been a day or a couple of days. I was sinking, and my mom was trying to. She worked to bring me out of it. I had friends, my work friend. Me and her been friends for years, and um, every time we would talk on the phone, it's something else. We're not talking about what you're going through. We're talking about other things. And I'm not saying that's people that's throwing light onto what you're going through, because she's married and's been married longer than I had been married. So people, if they see you sinking, they will try. If they're real ones, they're gonna try to save you. And so I just feel like that's kind of what I was experiencing. And my brother told me, start, have you been reading your Bible? And I said, no. And he said, you need to start reading the Bible. And he said, that's the only thing gonna help you get through. But that is the app that I downloaded, and every day it sends me an alarm in the morning, an alarm in the evening to pray and to read a scripture. And it's like you can go into the app and you can do a devotion, you can do a study guide. And I've been doing that and it's been helping because all your help and your strength come from the Lord. I don't care. I mean, unless you just don't believe in a higher power, then we can agree to disagree. But yes, I have been doing that and I have felt much better. So I would encourage anyone to do that. Even if that app to me helps because it helps explain the scriptures too. And even if regardless as to what, it's going to help give you an understanding of what you read. So I do respect that. But anyway, that's what I've been doing. And then trying to keep my mind, my body busy doing stuff. Like taking on the chores of the house that takes time. So those are things to occupy your mind. My cousin had a mayor's ball. He's the mayor in one of the towns down in South Carolina, and he had a mayor's ball, and so I went to that, and that was my first time actually getting out, and it felt nice to be out, but it also drained me. Like emotionally, I was drained, and it was because I don't go anywhere without my husband. Like we very seldom went places like that without one another, unless it was something, for family and one of us didn't want to go. But if it was like an event, he and I love stuff like that, to love to get out and do stuff together. So that was something that was difficult for me, but at the same time, I knew that I needed to do it because, like I said, it had almost been, I was going on 2.5 months of not really going anywhere. I started going to the store like in those 2 weeks that go into the half. I started going to the store, but I wasn't even going to the store before then. I would have stuff delivered to the house. So yes, it takes a lot out of you, but you do have to go through your mourning. You have to grieve. You have to do that. And it's so sad that jobs don't give you more time for immediate family. Like, to me, that is so terrible. Like, to tell me that I still would have only had 3 days for my husband. Come on now, 3 days. If I wouldn't have had vacation and sick time and the ability to apply for to file for FMLA, I would have never been able to. I definitely would have had a hard time grieving, and you need time. I don't know, and for someone that doesn't have that available, that's sad, and I don't know what to tell you as your option, because I don't think that gives you a chance to grieve or to mourn properly. I do not think 3 days you need to be back on a job, 5 days you need to be back on a job when it's your immediate family. That's hard. That is so difficult. And that's something that I wish that was different, but I know it's not. But with that, I don't know. Maybe you have to you still have to allow yourself time. But you have to also have someone there that's going to catch you when you falling too deep, or that's someone to be able to snap you out of it. And maybe going back to work sooner does help with that, but I feel like because grief takes, that is so wearing on your body physically. It drains you. It takes a lot of energy to grieve. It really does. And it weighs you down. And you do need to rest. You do need to rest. I saw that. I needed to rest. Even after the mayor's ball, when I came back home, I was exhausted for 2 days. But it was because of the emotional drain that it took on me to do that. And I did it because I wanted to support my family, for one, because they all supported me when I lost my husband. Like, they came through, and I really appreciated that. And so when they told me that he was having the mayor's ball, yes, I wanted to go. It wasn't even a question. I wanted to go because I knew it would be something nice, because I had never, been to a masquerade ball, and me and my husband. But I was drained afterwards, and it really took me like 2 days to recover. But anyway, I'm gonna have to end here, and we can kind of pick up here, because that kind of was draining for me. And now I think I need to kind of regroup, because that took a lot out of me. Once you start crying, honey, that's a wrap. But anyway, and then my SD card just said it was full on my camera, so we're on my phone. So anyway, I've enjoyed talking to you guys. It was tough. I'm glad I got this initial conversation out, and I pray that, what I said resonated with someone. I hope I'm not going to feel weird when I start editing this and not want to post it, but I appreciate you for watching. Like I said, I hope this was beneficial to someone, and yeah, we'll just kind of pick up from here next time, and I'll talk to you guys later.